the heavens and the earth, meaning He is the one who is completely responsible and upholds the heavens and the earth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has full complete control, and nothing happens without His absolute will and absolute power. And He said, I want to give you some example of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He distributes rizq. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how he told us in the Qur'an that when He created the creations, the portion to do with rizq of all of His creations, He did in the first 4 days of the creations of the heavens and the earth. So anything to do with trade or farming or fishing or any form of industry or anything from which, any source from which our sustenance, our provision comes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took that responsibility and created it all for us in the first 4 days. And the Shaykh recited the ayah in the Qur'an where Allah ta'ala more or less says, how could you disbelieve in Him who created the heavens and the earth in the first 2 days, and then He provided its provisions for you in the other 4 days. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has complete control over His rizq. And most of this rizq is absolutely determined and completely distributed. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us some sort of access or control over that, but in most of the time it happens automatically with the absolute power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the absolute protection of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. He says there are some people who are given power and the means to production that is way above their needs, and other human beings are given the power and the means of production just enough to meet their needs, and others are given the means of production and power less their needs. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants this world to be balanced and wants it to be a complementary relationship, so that those who have more can carry the social responsibility of looking after those who have less. Take the example of food and water. He said, I want to strike the example of water only, and he pointed to the bottle of water and he says, the water in most of the cases comes to us without any effort. This bottle of water that is standing in front of us, as is, you had some level of control, but in most of the time you had absolutely no control over how it came, how it was distilled, how it was filtered, and also once you drink it, what happens to it. He says, the coming of this water of bottle to us here, you had zero control over its bottling of the water, the distilling of this water, the filtration of this water, or possibly the purchase of this water. And now it's right in front of you. Up to this point, you have zero control. Then Allah has given you some level of control where you are able to open this bottle of water and partake from it and drink from it. Right? This is a step that you have some level of control. But then this level of control only lasts until the water reaches your throat. Once you have swallowed that water, you have absolutely zero control. And here where the tadbir or the management of Allah Ta'ala comes in. This water now goes through your body. It goes through to the enzymes, to the cells, and those cells through the water that you drank, which you have zero control over, automatically feeds the skin and the nails and the bones and the hair and every portion of your body. Not only this, whilst you are asleep also the water is doing its job, keeping you alive, making you continue to function, and maintaining your body with absolutely no control from your end. This is a clear indication of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala making these provisions subservient or for the service of this human being without you having any control over it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly demonstrates again and again that He is al-mudabbir, He is the one who is completely in control of the affairs of human beings, and in the example of the water is a clear indication of that.